Chosen one, take a breath and be still for a moment, because you are not here by accident. You did not find this message by chance, and you are not watching at a random time. Heaven itself aligned this moment. Divine timing brought you here because something is shifting and your spirit was ready to hear it. Chosen one, I know how you feel. You are not broke. You are not lazy. You are not lost. Yet you've watched others rise faster, louder, flashier, while you stayed steady, disciplined and unseen. And deep down you may have asked the question you never say out loud: if wealth transfer is real, why does my life still look like this? That question didn't disqualify you. It revealed that you are paying attention. Anointed one, this is not a message about fast money or empty hype. This is a verdict. The season you are standing in right now is the kind written about when Scripture says that the vision has an appointed time, and when it speaks, it will not lie. God has been signing off behind the scenes while you were being prepared in silence. If you stay to the end of this video, you will not just hear words. You will gain clarity, alignment, and confirmation for why your delay was protection and why your elevation is now inevitable. So subscribe to stay connected to this calling. Comment 777 as your declaration that you are ready, and comment the place you live as an act of faith. And chosen one, make a promise to yourself right now to watch this all the way through, because this message was written for those who are finally ready to receive what heaven has already approved. Chosen one, now that your spirit is open, let me speak to you plainly and truthfully. What is happening around you right now is not random, and it is not coincidence. It is convergence. Heaven does not move in chaos, and it does not waste seasons. The reason you have felt tension, restlessness, and an unshakable sense that something is off is because two timelines are colliding: the life you've been living and the life that has been authorized for you. That collision is uncomfortable, but it is holy. Anointed one. Many people assume that when God is about to bless someone, everything becomes easy and obvious. But the truth is, just before divine elevation, life often feels heavier, quieter, and more confusing than ever. You begin to feel like you are standing still while everyone else seems to be moving forward. You do not feel inferior, but you feel delayed. Not rejected, but restrained. That is not failure. That is containment. God does not release weight into a vessel that has not been reinforced. I know this because I have lived through it. There were seasons in my own life where I did everything right on paper. I worked, I prayed, I stayed disciplined, I avoided shortcuts, and yet nothing moved. Doors did not open, money felt tight, progress felt slow. And I remember asking in the quiet, if I am doing what I'm supposed to do, why does it still feel like I'm behind? What I did not understand then is what I understand now. Heaven was not delaying me. Heaven was calibrating me. Chosen one. Wealth transfer is not a reward. It is a responsibility. It is not heaven saying you deserve this. It is heaven asking, can I trust you with this? And that question is not answered in public moments. It is answered in private ones. In how you handle lack without becoming bitter. In how you handle silence without becoming desperate. In how you handle slow seasons without lowering your standards or selling pieces of yourself just to feel like you are progressing. There is a reason Scripture speaks of the vision having an appointed time, and why it says that when it speaks, it will not lie. The vision does not arrive early just because you are impatient, and it does not arrive late just because you are tired. It arrives when alignment is complete, and alignment is not just external, it is internal. Your thinking, your values, your impulses, your identity, all of it must be able to hold what is coming without collapsing under its weight. Anointed one. Many people think they are waiting on money, but in truth, money is waiting on them. It is waiting for maturity. It is waiting for clarity. It is waiting for the moment when you no longer see it as salvation, but as assignment. That shift is subtle, but it changes everything. When money stops being the thing you run toward and becomes the thing you steward, heaven takes notice. You may have noticed recently that your desires are changing. The things that once excited you no longer do. Flashy lifestyles feel hollow. Loud success feels performative. You are no longer impressed by noise. You crave depth, stability, and meaning. That is not boredom. That is refinement. God does not elevate people who are addicted to validation because wealth amplifies whatever already lives inside you. If insecurity is there, it grows. If ego is there, it expands. If emptiness is there, it echoes louder. That is why the preparation phase often feels like subtraction. God is removing what would sabotage you later. Chosen one, I want you to understand something important. The reason this message is landing so precisely in your spirit is because you are not in the crowd. You are in the remnant. Most people want wealth because they want relief. You are being prepared for wealth because you are called to build, to stabilize, and to establish something that outlives you. That is a different kind of calling, and it requires a different kind of formation. I have watched people receive sudden money before they were ready, and I have watched it destroy them quietly. Relationships fractured, purpose blurred, discipline eroded. The money did not ruin them, it revealed them. And God in His mercy does not expose His chosen ones prematurely. He covers them until their roots are deep enough to withstand the wind. What felt like being overlooked was actually being hidden. Anointed One, heaven has been watching how you move when no one is clapping, how you manage your emotions when progress feels slow, how you treat people who cannot advance you, how you spend what little you have without trying to impress anyone. These moments matter more than you realize. They are not invisible, they are recorded, and they are the very evidence heaven uses to sign off on what comes next. You are not late, you are not behind, you are not less than. You are early for a future that requires strength, not speed. The pressure you have been feeling is not pushing you backward. It is pressing you forward, shaping you into someone who can carry abundance without being carried away by it. That is why this season has demanded patience from you. Patience is not passive. It is power under control. Chosen one, I need you to hear this clearly. The wealth transfer you are stepping into will not look like chaos or luck. It will look like alignment. Conversations that open doors. Ideas that suddenly make sense. Opportunities that arrive without force. It will feel quiet, steady, and undeniable. That is how heaven moves when something has already been approved. And as this truth settles into your spirit, I want you to stay present. Do not rush ahead in your mind. Do not try to calculate how it will happen. Your job is not to figure it out. Your job is to remain aligned, surrendered, and ready. When God signs off on something, He also orders the steps that lead you there. And right now, you are standing at one of those steps. Chosen one, let me take you deeper into what most people never understand about wealth and divine timing. What you are experiencing right now is not simply a financial delay or a slow season. It is a spiritual filtration. When God prepares to move wealth, influence, and authority, He does not move it toward noise. He moves it toward vessels that can hold weight without leaking character. That is why the process has felt isolating. That is why your path has narrowed instead of widened. Heaven always reduces before it releases. Anointed one, there is a lie that circulates quietly in the background of this generation, and it says that if something is meant for you, it should come easily and quickly. But that lie has destroyed more destinies than opposition ever could. Ease without formation creates fragility. Speed without depth creates collapse. God does not rush what he intends to last. When Scripture speaks of God establishing something, it is never describing something shallow or temporary. Establishment requires roots, and roots grow in darkness. I want to speak honestly from lived experience here, not theory. There was a time when I thought that if God truly had his hand on my life, progress would be obvious. I expected visible markers, income increases, public recognition, clear breakthroughs. Instead, what I got was silence. Long stretches where nothing changed outwardly, but everything was shifting inwardly. My priorities changed. My tolerance for distraction disappeared. My appetite for approval died slowly and painfully. At the time, I thought I was losing momentum. In truth, I was losing what would have disqualified me later. Chosen one. Heaven often removes urgency before it releases provision. When you are frantic, you are vulnerable. When you are desperate, you are easily manipulated. That is why God calms his chosen ones before he elevates them. Peace is not the reward. Peace is the prerequisite. If you cannot remain grounded without money, you will not remain grounded with it. Wealth does not create stability. It reveals whether stability already exists. You may have noticed that in recent seasons, you no longer chase opportunities the way you used to. You still care about progress, but you are no longer willing to violate your values to get there. You are no longer impressed by shortcuts. You would rather move slowly with integrity than quickly with anxiety. That shift did not come from self-discipline alone. It came from divine recalibration. God was teaching your nervous system how to remain regulated in uncertainty, because abundance requires emotional maturity, not just ambition. Anointed one, most people want wealth because they believe it will finally make them feel safe. But God does not use money to heal insecurity. He heals insecurity so that money does not become an idol. That is why the preparation stage often confronts your fears directly. Fear of being left behind, fear of missing out, fear that you are not special enough. These fears are not attacks, they are invitations. Invitations to surrender control and let identity be anchored in something deeper than outcomes. There is a reason many people receive money and immediately lose clarity. The mind that depends on money for validation becomes chaotic once money arrives. But the mind that is anchored in purpose uses money as a tool, not a mirror. God is not interested in making you rich so that you can finally feel worthy. He is interested in confirming your worth so that wealth does not distort your vision. Chosen one. The wealth transfer that has been signed off on your life is not designed to rescue you from your circumstances. It is designed to resource your assignment. That distinction matters. Rescue creates dependence. Resourcing creates responsibility. When God rescues, he lifts you out. When he resources, he sends you back in with capacity. That is why your preparation has included endurance. You have been learning how to stand in pressure without folding, how to carry responsibility without complaining, how to stay humble while growing confident. These qualities are rare, and they are not formed in comfort. I want you to reflect on something quietly as you listen. Think about the people you have observed who came into money suddenly. Think about how many of them lost direction, relationships, or discipline. Think about how quickly excess turned into confusion. That pattern is not accidental. It is what happens when provision outruns purpose. God does not make that mistake with his chosen ones. He allows the longing to stretch you so that when fulfillment arrives, it does not consume you. Anointed one. There is also something important happening in the unseen that you may not be aware of. Heaven does not only prepare the person, it prepares the environment. There are conversations you have not been invited into yet because the timing is not right. There are connections that cannot reach you until certain internal alignments are complete. There are doors that will not open until your discernment is sharp enough to walk through them wisely. What looks like delay is often synchronization. Scripture speaks about God ordering steps, not leaps. Steps imply sequence. Order implies precision. Nothing about your journey has been random. The experiences that seemed unrelated were actually building a framework. The disappointments that felt unnecessary were creating discernment. The closed doors were redirecting your trajectory away from places that would have drained you later. When God says no, it is rarely about denial. It is about protection. Chosen one. I want to address something tender now. There are moments when you have wondered if you misheard God altogether. Moments when you questioned whether the calling you felt was real or imagined. Those moments did not offend heaven. They proved your humanity. Even the most faithful servants in Scripture had moments of doubt when the promise took longer than expected. Doubt does not disqualify you. Abandonment does. And you did not abandon your path. You stayed. You kept showing up. You kept growing quietly. That matters. What is coming to you will not arrive with chaos. It will arrive with confirmation. It will make sense in hindsight. You will look back at this season and realize that if things had moved any faster, you would not have been ready. Not emotionally, not spiritually, not mentally. God was not withholding from you. He was preserving you. Anointed one, as this settles in, let your spirit relax. You do not need to force alignment. You are already in it. You do not need to chase validation. Heaven has already spoken. Your responsibility now is to remain faithful in posture. Stay teachable. Stay grounded. Stay surrendered. The wealth transfer assigned to you is not fragile. It is stable. And stability requires patience, clarity, and trust. The pressure you feel is not because something is wrong, it is because something is forming, and formation always comes before manifestation. Chosen one. There is a moment in every true calling where the illusion finally breaks. It is the moment you realize that the delay you resented was never about punishment, lack, or being overlooked. It was about timing your growth to match the weight of what was coming. This is where many people misunderstand God. They assume He is measuring effort, but heaven measures capacity. And capacity is not built in comfort. It is built in seasons where you are required to stand without reassurance. Anointed one, I want to speak directly to the feeling you've been carrying quietly, the sense that you are living below your potential, not because you lack ability, but because something unseen has been holding the line. That feeling is not imagination, it is restraint. God restrains what He intends to preserve. He slows what He intends to stabilize. He withholds visibility when visibility would attract the wrong hands too early. You were not stalled. You were sheltered. There are people who rose quickly and loudly, and you watched them with mixed emotions. Not envy, but confusion. You saw shortcuts being rewarded, noise being celebrated, and depth being ignored. And somewhere inside you wondered if integrity still mattered, if patience still mattered, if doing things the right way still carried weight. Let me answer that clearly. Integrity matters more now than ever because the next phase is not about appearance, it is about endurance. Chosen one, sudden wealth does not destroy people because they lack money management skills alone. It destroys them because it exposes unresolved identity. Money gives you options, and options reveal who is in control. When discipline is weak, excess becomes dangerous. When ego is unchecked, access becomes intoxicating. God is not cruel enough to hand power to someone who would be consumed by it. That is why your journey has included confrontation with yourself. Think back over the last few years. Notice how often you were forced to face your motives, why you wanted more, why certain delays triggered frustration, why silence made you uncomfortable. Those moments were not meant to shame you, they were meant to clarify you. Clarification always precedes calling. God will never amplify confusion, He amplifies clarity. Anointed One, there is a reason many of your old desires have fallen away. You did not force that change, it happened naturally. What once felt urgent now feels unnecessary. What once felt impressive now feels hollow. That is because your spirit matured faster than your circumstances. Maturity before manifestation is a rare gift. Most people mature after they fall. You are being matured before you rise. I want to share something personal here, not as a preacher, but as someone who has walked this road. There was a season when I believed that if I could just break through financially, everything else would align. I thought money would remove pressure, clarify decisions, and bring peace. What I learned slowly and painfully is that money amplifies whatever is already present. When clarity is present, money expands it. When confusion is present, money magnifies it. God spared me by not answering certain prayers when I wanted Him to. Chosen one, you are being spared too. Not because you are less ready than others, but because you are assigned to handle more. The higher the assignment, the deeper the preparation. Scripture shows us this pattern repeatedly, even when it is uncomfortable to read. Those who carried influence were hidden first. They were refined in obscurity. They were misunderstood before they were trusted. This is not coincidence, it is design. You may have noticed that your circle has grown smaller. Not through conflict, but through clarity. Conversations that once felt normal now feel draining. Environments that once energized you now feel misaligned. This is not arrogance, it is discernment. God cannot build a future around distractions. He removes what divides your focus before He multiplies your reach. Anointed One, wealth transfer in heaven's language is not simply about assets moving hands. It is about stewardship being reassigned. Stewardship requires wisdom, restraint, and long vision. That is why your mind has been stretched beyond short-term thinking. You are no longer satisfied with quick wins. You think in decades now, even if you cannot yet articulate why. That shift did not come from ambition. It came from alignment. Let me say something that may challenge you, but it is necessary. Not every delay ends with wealth. Some delays end with clarity so that you can walk away from paths that would have cost you your soul. But when God signs off on wealth, He ensures the delay produces discipline, not disappointment. You are not bitter, you are wiser, you are not angry, you are steadier. That tells me something important about where you are. Chosen one. The reason this message resonates is because you have already been living part of it. You have resisted the urge to perform. You have learned how to say no without explaining yourself. You have learned how to sit with uncertainty without panicking. These are not small victories. They are evidence of internal authority. Authority always precedes provision. I want you to hear this clearly now. Heaven does not rush what it intends to protect, and heaven does not protect what it does not intend to use. You are being prepared for a type of elevation that requires emotional regulation, spiritual discernment, and moral stability. That is why your progress could not mirror others. Your assignment is different. Your path is quieter. Your growth is deeper. Anointed One. There will come a moment when the restraint lifts. It will not be dramatic. It will be natural. You will not feel shocked. You will feel ready. Opportunities will align without force. Resources will respond without strain. And when that happens, you will understand why everything unfolded the way it did. You will not feel the need to explain yourself or prove anything. The season of justification will be over. Until then, remain grounded in what you know, not what you fear. Remain faithful in what is in front of you, not what is promised ahead. Faithfulness is not about doing more. It is about staying aligned, and alignment, once complete, releases what effort never could. Chosen one. You are not waiting for heaven. Heaven has been waiting for you to become steady enough to receive what was already approved. Chosen one. There is a sacred distinction that must be understood now, because this is where many people misinterpret what is happening in their lives. The wealth that heaven assigns does not arrive as chaos, luck, or emotional fireworks. It arrives as alignment, and alignment feels very different from fantasy. It feels calm. It feels intentional. It feels almost understated. That is why many people miss it when it first begins to unfold. Anointed one. Most of the world has been trained to recognize breakthrough only when it is loud. Sudden checks, viral moments, overnight success stories. But heaven does not need noise to confirm authority. Heaven confirms authority through order, through precision, through quiet shifts that rearrange your life from the inside out before anything changes on the outside. That is why what you are stepping into may feel subtle at first, but it will be unshakable. I want you to pay attention to how your inner world has changed. You are not reacting the way you used to. Situations that once triggered panic now trigger thought. Delays that once felt unbearable now feel tolerable. You still care, but you are no longer frantic. That is not emotional numbness. That is regulation. God does not release weight into a nervous system that cannot stay grounded. Before wealth moves, peace must settle. Chosen one, let me speak plainly about something most people never say out loud. Many people pray for wealth while secretly hoping it will rescue them from themselves. They want money to solve their insecurity, their lack of direction, their unresolved wounds. But God does not use provision to replace identity. He establishes identity so that provision does not become a substitute for it. That is why your journey forced you to sit with yourself, to confront patterns, to let certain coping mechanisms die. That work was not optional, it was essential. Anointed one. The difference between those who inherit wealth and those who sustain it is not intelligence, it is self-mastery. Self-made individuals are not superior because they are smarter, they are steadier. They learned discipline before abundance. They learned restraint before access. They learned how to say no long before they were given the power to say yes. That is the training you have been undergoing, even if no one labeled it that way. Think about the choices you make now compared to a few years ago. You are more intentional with your time, more selective with your energy, less reactive to external pressure. These are not personality changes. They are indicators of internal authority. Authority always precedes stewardship. Heaven does not entrust resources to people who are easily distracted, easily offended, or easily swayed by trends. You are becoming anchored, and anchoring takes time. Chosen one. The wealth transfer that is approaching your life will not look like excess first. It will look like stability, predictable progress, sustainable growth, clear thinking. That is how heaven introduces increase to those who are meant to carry it long term. The first sign of divine wealth is not luxury, it is order. Bills paid without panic, decisions made without fear, planning that extends beyond survival. These shifts may seem ordinary, but they are deeply spiritual. I want to share another personal reflection here because I know how easy it is to misunderstand this phase. There was a time when I thought nothing was happening because nothing dramatic was occurring. I equated movement with noise. I equated progress with speed. What I did not realize was that God was transitioning me from urgency into authority, from reacting to responding, from chasing to choosing. That transition did not feel exciting, it felt sobering. But it prepared me for clarity I did not yet know I needed. Anointed One clarity is expensive. It costs confusion, disappointment, and the death of false expectations. But once clarity arrives, it protects everything that comes after it. That is why God allowed you to be disappointed by outcomes that looked promising but were not aligned. Those disappointments were not setbacks, they were filters. They removed attachments that would have pulled you off course later. Chosen One, another sign that heaven has signed off on your next phase is the way opportunities are approaching you now. You are no longer chasing them aggressively. They are beginning to appear in conversations, ideas, and quiet openings. You are not forcing doors. You are recognizing them. That is discernment. Discernment is wealth's closest companion. Without it, abundance becomes a liability. Anointed One, understand this clearly. Wealth transfer in your life will not be about accumulation alone. It will be about positioning. Positioning determines access. Access determines influence. Influence determines impact. God is not simply increasing your resources. He is relocating you mentally and spiritually so that when resources arrive, they land in the right hands. Your hands. You may have noticed a growing discomfort with environments that thrive on drama gossip or surface-level ambition. That discomfort is not judgment, it is incompatibility. Your spirit no longer resonates with chaos because chaos cannot coexist with clarity. God is separating you from noise so that you can hear direction without distortion. This separation is not lonely, it is intentional. Chosen One. Many people fear being overlooked, but being overlooked is often protection in disguise. Visibility before readiness attracts demands before capacity. God does not expose what He is still reinforcing. When your time comes, you will not need to announce it. Alignment will speak for you. Results will speak for you. Stability will speak for you. Anointed One, let me say something that may surprise you. When the wealth shift begins to manifest tangibly, you will not feel euphoric. You will feel grounded. There will be gratitude, but also sobriety. Because you will understand that what has been entrusted to you is not just for enjoyment, but for responsibility. You will sense that your decisions now carry more weight, and you will welcome that weight because you have been prepared to carry it. This is why heaven did not rush you. This is why your process felt different. This is why your timeline did not mirror others. You were not being delayed. You were being fortified. And fortification is invisible until pressure comes. When pressure arrives, everything you have built internally will begin to show. Chosen One, stay present in this understanding. Do not underestimate the quiet strength that has been forming within you. Do not dismiss the calm confidence replacing your anxiety. These are not side effects. They are signals. Signals that alignment is completing. Signals that what has been authorized in heaven is preparing to move into form in your life. You are not standing at the edge of chaos. You are standing at the edge of order. And order is where lasting wealth is born. Chosen One, as this message settles deeper into your spirit, I need you to understand something with absolute clarity. The wealth transfer heaven has signed off on is not arriving to impress your ego or validate your past pain. It is arriving because your capacity has finally caught up with your calling. What is moving toward you now is not random provision. It is targeted assignment. Anointed One. There comes a point in every divine journey where preparation stops feeling like training and starts feeling like readiness. You are stepping into that threshold. You no longer need to be convinced that shallow success is empty. You no longer need to experience loss to learn discernment. You no longer need pressure to force maturity. Those lessons have already been integrated. That is why the noise around you has quieted. That is why your spirit feels steady instead of desperate. This steadiness is not accidental, it is confirmation. I want to speak directly to the fear that still tries to surface quietly. The fear that says, "What if I miss it?" Or "What if I mess it up when it finally comes?" That fear does not come from intuition. It comes from memory. It comes from seasons where you had to figure everything out alone. But hear this clearly, chosen one. What is coming next will not depend on your striving. It will respond to your alignment. You will not have to chase what has already been authorized. Anointed One. One of the clearest signs that heaven has signed off on your wealth transfer is this: you are no longer willing to betray your peace for progress. There was a time when you would have tolerated stress, confusion, or compromise just to feel like you were moving forward. That version of you has been retired. You now understand that peace is not the absence of ambition. It is the foundation that makes ambition sustainable. I have learned this the hard way. I have watched people outrun their own clarity only to spend years cleaning up the consequences of speed. I have seen momentum without wisdom turn into burnout. I have seen access without boundaries turn into collapse. And I have lived through seasons where I was tempted to move faster than my discernment could support. Each time restraint proved to be mercy, delay proved to be protection, and patience proved to be power. Chosen One. The wealth transfer ahead of you will not arrive as a test of faith alone. It will arrive as a test of identity. You will be faced with choices that reveal who you believe you are. Whether you see yourself as a steward or a consumer, whether you see money as a tool or a trophy, whether you see growth as responsibility or entitlement, these decisions will not be made in one dramatic moment. They will be made in ordinary, quiet choices that shape your future. Anointed One. There is a reason your life has not been flashy. Flash attracts attention before substance is built. Heaven does not entrust influence to people who need to be seen. It entrusts influence to people who can remain grounded when seen. That grounding has been forming in you through simplicity, through discipline, and through seasons where you learn to derive worth from obedience instead of outcomes. I want you to reflect on how differently you handle disappointment now. It no longer derails you. It no longer defines you. It informs you. That is maturity. Disappointment used to feel personal. Now it feels directional. You no longer internalize every closed door as rejection. You interpret it as redirection. This shift alone qualifies you for a higher level of stewardship. Chosen One. Let me say something that may recalibrate your expectations in a healthy way. The wealth transfer you are stepping into will not remove all challenges. It will change the nature of them. You will move from survival challenges to responsibility challenges, from scarcity decisions to stewardship decisions, from asking, "How do I get through this?" to asking, "How do I manage this well?" That transition requires wisdom, not hype. Anointed One. This is why your life has been training you to think long-term. You do not rush conclusions. You do not chase trends blindly. You ask deeper questions now. You think in systems, not moments. You are learning how to build things that last instead of chasing things that shine. That mindset did not come from books alone. It came from experience, and experience is the most expensive teacher heaven uses. I want to speak to the part of you that still wonders if this will really materialize in tangible form. That question is natural, but it no longer needs to control you. Faith at this level is not emotional excitement. It is settled expectation. You do not need signs to stay grounded. You recognize alignment when you feel it. And right now, alignment is completing. Anointed One. There is also a reason your compassion has deepened. You notice people more. You understand struggle without romanticizing it. You are less judgmental and more discerning. Wealth entrusted to someone without compassion becomes exploitative. Wealth entrusted to someone with compassion becomes generative. God is not only increasing your capacity to manage resources, He is increasing your capacity to impact lives responsibly. Chosen One, when the tangible manifestations begin to appear, they may look modest at first. A connection that opens a door, an idea that gains traction, a consistent stream replacing sporadic effort. Do not despise these beginnings. Heaven builds foundations before it builds towers. Consistency is a greater sign of blessing than sudden spikes. Stability is louder in the spirit than spectacle. Anointed One, understand this deeply. You were never meant to prove anything to anyone. Your life is not a rebuttal. It is a testimony in formation. The season ahead will not require you to explain your journey. It will simply reflect the fruit of it, and the fruit will speak quietly but clearly. As you stand here now, grounded, aware and ready, release the need to control the timeline. Release the urge to measure yourself against others. Release the fear that something will slip past you if you relax. What is meant for you is already moving toward alignment. Your role is not to force it. Your role is to remain faithful to the posture that brought you here. Chosen One. Heaven does not revoke what it signs off on, and what has been signed carries both provision and purpose. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into responsibility matched with capacity. That is why your spirit feels sober instead of euphoric. That sobriety is strength. Remain grounded, remain aligned, remain present. The season of preparation has done its work, and what comes next will not overwhelm you because you have been quietly built to carry it. Chosen One. As this message comes to rest, let your spirit be still and receive what has already been confirmed. You are not leaving this moment the same way you entered it. Something has shifted not around you, but within you. And when heaven moves within a person, the outward change is only a matter of time. Anointed One, hear this with clarity and peace. The signing has already happened. What you have been prepared for has been authorized. What you have carried in silence has been acknowledged. You are standing in your kairos moment, the appointed time where preparation meets permission. Nothing is late, nothing is missing, nothing has been overlooked. This is not a season of striving, this is a season of alignment. Walk forward with reverence, not urgency. Move with gratitude, not fear. What is unfolding will not overwhelm you because you have been shaped to carry it. The same hand that restrained you now releases you with wisdom, stability, and purpose. Chosen One, may you remain faithful to the posture that brought you here. May you stay aligned with what feels peaceful, true, and grounded. And may you recognize the manifestations as they appear, not as luck, but as confirmation. Go forward knowing this heaven does not reverse what it has approved. And what has been approved over your life will arrive in the right measure at the right time through the right doors. Walk in quiet confidence, walk in gratitude, walk in trust. The transfer is in motion.